A dense Louisiana swamp lies under the darkness of night. A huge alligator moves through the river toward its prey, carrying a mysterious red glowing GPS tracker on its back. Suddenly, it vanishes beneath the water. Moments later, only its severed head appears. What could be so massive and dangerous that it hunted the alligator itself? Whatever it is, something terrifying is still hiding from humans. Meanwhile, on the other side, Rodrigo is preparing for his swamp tour. He has gathered some tourists, but a few are still remaining. Now, one night before setting off, when he was in a bar, he saw Sistine and her friend Hannah there. He told the two of them that he'd show them an alligator cheaply, and that too in the river. Sistine has just lost her job, from which she's quite sad, and so she has the greatest need to go to a peaceful place. Hannah too builds up her courage and says yes. Rodrigo and the two of them reach the spot the next day. There were also Mikey, his grandfather Tim, and his mom Dion. These people too were going on the tour with them. Rodrigo was just about to start the car when a woman named Sally arrived, who was the last tourist. Now going along a beautiful route by car, they set off from there. On the way, these people get to see quite a lot of things that were completely new to them. Now, when the turn came to board the boat, Rodrigo starts telling everyone some rules. He reminds these people that this is the river. Its depth, no one has ever measured to this day. However much anyone tried to measure it, they couldn't measure it and return. So the first thing is, don't put your hand in the water, otherwise nothing will come back up. The second thing, always sit as much as possible in the middle. Otherwise, the boat could flip because there are a lot of people and the boat is small. The third thing, follow the first two rules carefully and without any carelessness so that your trip stays happy. Now, in the meantime, we see Sally messaging someone again and again. It seemed as if she had come here running away from someone. Before starting the boat, Rodrigo checked the GPS tracker on his phone, meaning he was the one who fitted the GPS on that alligator, so that he could show the tourists a glimpse of it more, and quickly. This man has a lot of brains. The boat ride started, everyone started clicking photos. Mikey's grandfather Tim was enjoying those views, and Sistine and Hannah were getting photos taken with Mikey. When these people reached that spot where the GPS was indicating, Rodrigo threw marshmallows into the water, and his claim was that this makes them come up quickly. As soon as he threw them into the water, after that, everyone's eyes were fixed on the water. Everyone was in this moment. Who knows when it will come up, and these people will capture it in the camera. But just then, suddenly, Mikey got a strong jolt. Someone's heart skipped a beat. But later it turned out that he was joking. Quite a while passed, but nothing came up at all. At that same time, Dion noticed there's something a little distance away. She told this to Rodrigo, so he took the boat slowly toward that side. When he got close, their eyes went wide. It was to see this alligator that they had come here. Someone had cut its body into two pieces and eaten all the flesh inside it. Seeing this sight, Rodrigo himself trembled too, because this had happened for the first time in his life. He immediately talks about turning the boat around, but Sally wanted a close-up pic. Rodrigo refuses her. Meanwhile, Tim got up and started talking about leaving from there, but Sally was stuck on her stubbornness. Rodrigo told her to calm down and explained that we'll have to leave here for now. Tomorrow will come again. Nobody's money will be wasted. Sally was quite angry, but now he turns the boat around. At a slight speed, without the sound of the engine, he started going away from there. Suddenly, a strong jolt came, as if these people had climbed on top of something. Everyone looked toward Mikey. This time too, hadn't he done some mischief? He clearly denies it. Before they could understand this, once again the boat got a jolt. This time it was greater than the first one. Now it has started to wobble, as if someone from below is deliberately shaking it, because in just a few moments the boat flipped, and all the people there ended up inside the water. Everyone was calling out to their loved ones. Sistine was looking for Hannah, and Diane was looking for Mikey and her father. One by one, these people quickly came up above the water, and then they saw that Rodrigo isn't there at all. Sistine immediately called out to him, and meanwhile, on the other side, Sally had reached a tree to climb up on it, because it seems to her that that place is safer. Behind her, Sistine too was going. She too feels something like that. But at that same time, Dion calls out to her dad and tells him to come to this side, because there was no room left on that tree. So he turned back midway and started coming to this side. Just then, suddenly, Rodrigo comes up above the water. He was badly injured. Blood was continuously flowing from his body. Even so, he somehow reaches close to the boat, which had now flipped over. When he got close, the other people pull him up. When they looked at his body, there was a deep wound on his shoulder, as if something very sharp had gone inside. For now, they couldn't understand anything. Just then, something starts pushing their boat. Everyone starts screaming because whatever that thing was, it was right below them. And if anyone fell below this wobbling boat, they'd be finished straight away. Screaming and thrashing, they all somehow got the boat to stop at one place. Now that place was good for them because there were 1 or 2 trees there, out of which everyone went and sat on their own trees, because the weight on that boat got reduced, from which it would also stay safe. For now, their eyes were on the injured Rodrigo, who is the most important for them because he's the one who has all the information about this place. So Sistine tells Tim that we'll have to save him at any cost. And just then Rodrigo points toward the flare box, which was in the water. Someone will have to bring it, otherwise he'll die. Sistine takes on this responsibility. Slowly she climbed up the tree because it was only with its support that she'd be able to go close to the water. If she went by swimming like that, she'd never be able to come back. Moving along the tree's branches, she went up and reached the corner from there. That flare box was stuck there. When she put her hand above the water, at that same time we can feel it, as if some unknown thing is watching her from below. In time, Sistine picked up that box and threw it toward Tim. When they opened it, inside it there was a knife and some flares. Dion told her to heat that knife as much as possible with that flare. Rodrigo asked her whether she has ever done this before. So she said yes. Actually, she's a nurse. When the knife got hot, she put it on his wound. From this, Rodrigo got such terrible pain that he became unconscious. Later, we can hear Hannah, Sistine, all of them together, how they are screaming out in the jungles. Somewhere, may some help come for them. Just then, Rodrigo came too. He told them that the boss must have gotten our last location. He'll come to help soon. When Dion asked, "Well, how did you get this injury?" We were all in the water. So he told her that he only saw that some one thing was very big and it was pressing him with its mouth, and these are its teeth marks. But Dion's claim was that the wound is about 10 feet. Would those teeth be 10 feet? This isn't possible. Everyone was quiet. Everyone had different thoughts coming to their minds. Sistine asked him whether we can ask for help by radio. He said yes, of course. If only the boat hadn't flipped. Tim tells them that we'll now have to gather all the things that have fallen in the water, such as water, food, and some first aid too, with which we can keep ourselves safe and alive for a longer time. In the middle, light rain also falls. That bag which had the snacks was in the water. It was closest to Sally. Sistine tells her to pick it up, but Sally isn't budging from her place now at all. Over here, Mikey and his grandfather Tim are engaged in trying to pick up that box which had the water bottles, but it's a little distance away from them, so the team tried to bring it close with the help of a rope. In between, Hannah checks the phone again and again. Maybe some network will come, but there was no such thing. So everything here was at a standstill. After a while, Tim pulled that box, after which he gives everyone a water bottle. He tells them clearly that the longer we stay away from the water, the longer we'll be able to save ourselves. Now, for a while, things stay calm, but at that very moment, Mikey said to his grandfather, "It has come." Everyone became alert. It was some very big thing that was coming toward them rapidly. Its speed was also quite fast. Everyone became alert. Dion started trying to go even higher. But just then, suddenly her foot slipped and she fell straight into the water. Everyone is just letting out long sighs. Dion keeps thrashing in the water. Who will go to save her? Sistine jumped into the water. Swimming, she immediately reached her and grabbed her. She had gone quite far. Grabbing her, she started bringing her to this side. During this, behind Hannah, we see that thing, which looked like a monster. As much as its weight was, its speed was many times more than that. Hannah checks on Sistine and tells her to climb up because it had now started coming close. Sistine first pushes Dion up. In between, when she turned and looked back, it was very close to her. Inside the water, it was as if an earthquake was coming. Such was its rampage. It was in such speed that it didn't even see what was ahead. And because of this, it went and collided with the tree. So Hannah fell down because the tree got completely shaken. As soon as Hannah falls down, not just inside her, but inside everyone present there, that terrifying fear of death started tormenting them. Hannah started screaming loudly. She doesn't know how to swim, so she started thrashing her arms and legs rapidly. She tries to get to the boat as fast as possible, but that boat was getting farther from her. Tim says that I'll have to go to help her, but Dion stops him. And in between, Hannah went down under the water once, For a while, she didn't come up at all. Everyone became certain that she wouldn't come up now. But she came up and rapidly started going toward the tree where Sally was, because there was a branch there that was quite close to the water. But in between, something was giving her a deep wound, because of which she was screaming out of pain. When Sistine saw that she couldn't reach close to the tree, she herself climbed up onto another tree, from where she gives her a hand so that she could grab it and come up. When she grabbed her hand and tried to pull her up, her shoulder cracked, from which she went down again. Now Hannah, poor thing, got even more scared because no one is coming forward to save her life. She had one friend, and she too is now helpless. Everyone is just telling her to swim faster. She gathered more courage and put in whatever life she had so that somehow she could reach the support of the tree. After about 20 minutes of struggle, she finally reaches close to those roots. Everyone was very happy seeing this, most of all Sistine, because her friend was the most important. But then suddenly the moments of happiness turned into the morning of death. That thing, whatever it was, when it saw that she was climbing up the tree, it made a powerful leap. Grabbing her in its mouth, it took her inside the water. Everyone's eyes went wide. No one understood what had just happened. What that thing was. Sistine was the closest from there. She heard every scream of her friend, who was screaming in pain. Complete silence has spread. All the people there sat quietly in their places. The water there has turned red. Slowly it started getting dark. As Rodrigo had told them, if we don't reach there before the tour is off, the boss will surely ask about us once. When Walker asked his fellow worker about Rodrigo, he said that he had gone in the morning. There were tourists with him too. Check his GPS once. When Walker checked, it was off. This seemed suspicious to him, and he said nothing. He waited a while more, but when Rodrigo didn't come, Walker set off in the dark night, taking a boat to look for him. He looked at all the places around where those people usually go by boat, but no one was to be seen there. Suddenly, lightning started flashing from the sky. The meaning was clear. The night is about to become even more terrifying. Here Sistine, sitting on the tree, was troubled by her shoulder. She was in quite a lot of pain. Then Dion came to her. First, she apologizes to her. If she had sent her father, her friend would have been saved, but she showed selfishness. Hearing this, Sistine felt quite bad. At that very moment, she makes her shoulder normal again and hugs her. Rodrigo, whose condition is now getting serious. Sistine comes to him and gives him water to drink. She tells him to keep up his courage. During this, Rodrigo told her that we'll have to light a fire all around this place so that whatever that thing was can't come near us. Mikey said that he has seen the petrol can, which he could throw and set the water on fire. So here Dion forbids him from going into the water, but he'll have to do it. Otherwise, they'll all be killed one by one. Mikey went to the edge of the boat. From there, he picked up that petrol can, after which he throws it all around and lights a fire. At least from this, that thing will stay away. Later, Rodrigo told them that it's possible the tracker got switched off from coming in contact with the water. So if someone succeeds in going down and bringing back that tracker, I can switch it on again. Now here, friends, no one has the courage to go under that flip boat. So Sistine raised her hand. Rodrigo gives her the keys, with which she'll open the locker in which it is kept. Taking God's name, she went into the water and reached under the boat. Her breathing was quite fast. And why wouldn't it be, when you know that in doing this, you could even die? Everyone would get scared. She opens that locker with the help of the keys. She succeeded in bringing the tracker up, after which Rodrigo turned the GPS on. As soon as it turned on, their location reached Walker. When he saw the location, he himself was stunned at what they were doing so far away. For now, he had to reach there. So he turns the boat and sets off at full speed to go to them. Rodrigo told everyone that he had turned the tracker on. Now they just have to wait. After some time, a light came toward them. When everyone looked in that direction, their happiness knew no bounds. It was Walker who had come to save them. When he reached them, he was stunned seeing Rodrigo's condition. The way his condition was, no animal does that. Rodrigo tells him that in the beginning our boat got a strong jolt, after which our boat flipped. Since then, we've lost a loved one, whom some terrifying thing has eaten. And when Walker heard this thing, the expression on his face changed. He asked them for petrol, because the petrol in his boat had run out. But all the petrol Mikey had used up in lighting the fire. So now they'll have to go ahead by paddling. Slowly, everyone climbed down from their tree and sat on the boat. When they were moving ahead, paddling the boat, at that same time, Sally climbed onto Rodrigo. Angrily, she started saying that all this has happened because of him, Because of his carelessness, we've gotten trapped in these circumstances. Mikey comes behind her to move her away, but in that same scuffle, he fell into the water, and once again that same game began, the game of death. Everyone is now praying for his life, but his story was only up to here, because at that same moment, before his eyes, a huge, terrifying hippo appeared. And this is the one that had been causing all this terror until now. Walker was stunned seeing this, because in this whole jungle, there wasn't any hippo anywhere right now. So where did this come from? Everyone tells Mikey to calm down, but when death is right in front, how can anyone stay calm? In just a few moments, it opens its jaw and taking him, went inside the water. Seeing such a painful death of her son in front of her own eyes, Diane breaks down. She lost everything. Her whole world is destroyed. Sistine and the other people give her courage. Walker now changes the plan here. He told the people to go back onto that same tree, because staying in the water is not free of danger. He had come to know that as long as that hippo is there, these people won't be able to get out. So he decided that now he would hunt it. He had some sedative drugs, with the help of which he could knock it unconscious. However, he has done this before too. He knows this jungle well and has hunted many such big animals here. Taking his gun, he reached the boat where Rodrigo was lying, because now everyone has gone onto the tree. Just then, Dion does something that no one had expected. She suddenly jumps into the water and, who knows where, set off trying to go. Actually, she just couldn't believe now that her son is dead. She keeps feeling that he's alive, and in search of him, she jumped into the water and started calling out. Sistine tells everyone to stop her, but no one comes forward because now it's not easy to control her. Walker stands there with his gun raised, and just then she vanished in that same fog. Suddenly, the next moment, on the boat where he is, that ugly hippo attacks, and with whatever he had, he protected himself. But he couldn't stop it much. There, the injured Rodrigo lying on the boat picks up that gun and fires that sedative dart loaded in it, which went straight and hit that hippo. When it went into the water, it took Walker along with it too. But thankfully, in between, it lets him go, from which he came out of the water. By then, he sees that Rodrigo is dead on that same boat. Only 3 people are alive. Now, will anyone really survive, or will everyone be killed? Walker tells the 2 of them that you people will have to make some sounds in the water so that its attention gets diverted, so that I can reach close to the boat. But Sally refuses to go near the water. Hearing this, Sistine got angry. She said that because of you, 2 of our people have been killed. Who had no fault? At least think about them. A whole family has been wiped out only because of you. Now they start making a disturbance in the bushes near the water for Sally. So there, Walker was ready, when just then that huge hippo came out of the water. Seeing its size, Walker himself gets scared. He had seen something like this for the first time. Now running, he went and hid behind the tree. But this thing knew that, so it too came behind him. Putting its mouth inside the tree, it started trying to eat him. At that same moment, Walker fires a flare, from which it started moving away. Seeing all this happening, Sistine felt she had a chance. She immediately went to the boat. She got hold of it, and at that same moment, when she saw Rodrigo's corpse, she felt very sorry. He was a very good-hearted person. Suddenly, Walker too vanished somewhere. Sistine keeps calling out to him, but there was no sign of him. But at that same moment, a voice comes. He was alive. The 3 of them, sitting in the boat, now started going ahead from there. But it had gotten quite dark, and in such a case, it's not possible to see the path in the jungle. So Sistine opens Mikey's camera, in which she sees night vision, with which she starts looking at the path ahead. During this, she finds all those videos that Hannah and she had made together, seeing which, she becomes very emotional. In between, these people spotted an old building there. Walker's claim was that maybe they'll find a radio inside, with which he could call for help. It's not as if they know the way. When they got inside, it turned out that this building belonged to some politician, who earlier used to illegally supply rare species animals from here. There were some papers there too, in which it was written that they had smuggled about 450 hippos in 4 years. When they peeked outside the window, they saw some big cages there, in which they must have kept these hippos captive. Inside some cages, skeletons were lying. Just then, suddenly a growl was heard there. Walker understood that it had come, and so he told these people that we'll have to light a fire so that the rescue team can get a signal. So these people start gathering things. But just then, that hippo came there. The 2 of them moved ahead, but Walker got left behind. Just then, Sally shut the gate. Walker could have been saved, but Sally again did that same act from which he was killed. Sistine got very angry, but the door was about to break right then. Suddenly it came inside, and then Sistine noticed that gasoline was spilled there too. She lit a fire, in which that hippo started to burn. The two of them now came outside. There Sistine found a baby hippo trapped under a cage. So she told Sally to keep standing there and started freeing that baby. But just then, that hippo came there, which, seeing Sally, could eat her raw. But Sistine was still engaged in freeing that baby. It had come very close to her. But at that same moment, she frees its baby, from which it does nothing to her, and taking its baby, went away from there. The very next moment, the rescue team arrived there. Seeing that fire, they immediately climbed onto that cage and, waving their hand, signaled their presence. Out of those 8 people, only Sistine survived. Everyone was killed, a thing she'll always regret. And with this story too ends right here. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.